Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Testimony Thursdays. I'm your host, Dr. Jazz. I have a very special guest with me today. And on this podcast, we do talk about different miracles that we witness in the healthcare field and our God given talents. So I'm excited for today. Let me go ahead and get started with the scripture. And our scripture is going to be from Psalms 51:10. Create in me a clean heart, oh God. Renew a loyal spirit within me. So it's going to be an exciting episode, everyone. Y'all know I love a good story. I love a story time. And y'all know family is important to me. And I'm always so appreciative of how supportive my family is. So with our guest today, I actually I met her, I heard about her through my uncle and my uncle Al. He knows everybody, y'all. Like in South Carolina, I swear he knows everybody. He just always supportive of me. And I was telling him about my auntie was telling him about my podcast. And when I saw him last, he was like, you need to get my girl on here and to have her speaking and talk about what she does. And before I could even say, like, okay, uncle, like, no, 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 like he was like, let me call her real quick and call her right there. So we got to talk on the phone and I was like, yes, we definitely have to set a date on when you can be on the podcast. But he is just so funny. Like, even with he always talks about, y'all know, like I'm an author. He always talks about my book to different people as well. And he's like, yeah, like I just sold another one of your books and they want to talk to you. Can I give your number out? And I'm like, Lord, Uncle Al. But I appreciate him. And today's guest is going to be amazing. So Dr. Raquela Boone, if you could introduce yourself, that would be awesome.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Raquela Boone. I am a family nurse practitioner. I recently graduated from the Medical College of University of South Carolina, valedictorian. So it's so glad to be here and share today. Um,
Okay,
so-
valedictorian.
yes, I was surprised. Oh my gosh, like that in itself is a story of how I got there. So yes.
Oh, girl, we're gonna talk about all of that. That is phenomenal. Oh my gosh. So I'm so proud of you. Congrats to you. That is wonderful. Keep doing what you're doing. And I am gonna do a little icebreaker and then we're gonna hop right into that story. Okay, so this icebreaker, it's just something a little short to get to know you. But do you prefer like the city life or do you like the country life?
Okay, I prefer to live in the country. But I love to be and visit the city because it's just busy. The traffic, like just for example, going to Atlanta, going to like Charlotte, all the places that are close, it's just like, no, I can visit and they have a lot of things, but just every day getting on the interstate and having to go, no, I'll take the country. I'll stick to that.
Understandable. Do you prefer to work in the home health setting or do you like a set schedule at a hospital?
Home health. I've done both. Home health for sure. You know, you get to know those patients and they get to know you, and then your schedule works with them. They work with you, we're in your family. So, home health.
Yes, that's funny. Me and my sister was just talking about that this past week. Like, once you go home health, you don't go back. Like, so that's really important. Are you more of an early morning person or do you like more afternoon, evening?
I have to be an early morning person. I have two children. So, do I like it? It's like, huh, but I'm accustomed to it.
All right, Dr. Raquela. Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing what you do with the family practice. And yeah, shout out to MUSC. I did a certificate program there called the LIN program. And basically, it's leadership and educational development, learning about neurodevelopmental and related disabilities. So I always tell people, like in South Carolina, to apply to that program if you're interested in learning more about children with disabilities, especially autism. So I love MUSC. But tell us your story through school. Like, how did you become a nurse practitioner?
So I originally went off to USC Aiken in 2011 when I graduated. Got there, didn't, do the best. I mean, when you kind of go off to college, like most college, students, you start to new things. You're, away from home for the first time. And so my GPA was just shot. And a lot of the counselors was like, "Are you sure nursing is for you? Are you sure nursing is for you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, it's not reflected in your grades." Fast forward a year with college, I end up getting pregnant with my first son. And that was kind of like my motivation, like, okay, girl, you got to get it together. So I end up moving back home, me and my child's father, who's now my husband, moving back home, and I did LPN at Piedmont Tech. So that was like my first start. Then once I did my LPN, I moved forward to Greenville Technical College for my RN. Within that college, kind of failed a class by a point or two. And so I'm always just like, okay. Went to USC Upstate for my bachelor's, did fine with that. And then I applied for USC Columbia for their master's program, and they were like, "Nope, your GPA is not good enough. Maybe you need to take a couple more classes." And I'm like, "Lord, okay, I'm just done. Like, I'll just stop." And one of my best friends, she actually did the program with me. She said, "Well, let's apply for MUSC." I said, "Girl, I didn't get into a master's program. I'm not gonna get into a doctorate program." Prayed about it. And we both got in, we both finished. I was valedictorian and she was my second. So I was the first highest and she was the second highest. So God has just been like showing out. So I tell people, like, this is my story. If I can do it, you can do it.
That's it. That's the podcast. Wrap it up. That is it. What? Oh, I have chills right now. And that is a similar story for my story too. Like, when I was in physical therapy school, I failed out my first year because my GPA was a 2.76 and I needed a 2.80 to remain in the program. So that's what I'm always telling people. I'm like, where you start is not going to be where you finish if you keep going, if you keep staying focused. And what I love about that story too is your support system. Like you did move back home. You did, have kids, get married. You did have your best friend that was there to help support you. So I think that's important for people to hear as well because like it's harder to do things on your own. So when you have people around you that can support you and keep telling you that you can do it and fill your mind with the capability of reaching your dreams, it's so much, it's I don't even want to say it's easier, but it's more you get that feeling of like, okay, I can do this. Like the doubt leaves your head. Um,
Correct.
so how many years did it take you to become a nurse practitioner?
So this previous program 4 years. So once I got my bachelor's from USC Upstate, I did the doctoral program. I did it part-time, of course, because I was working, have kids. So it took me 4 years. If I had done it full-time, it would have took me 3 years. But I laugh and joke, and even my son, he was like, "Mama, you've been in school since I've been a baby," which is true. My son is 12 years old. So it's like literally, like I gave birth to him, and 2 weeks later, I was in class taking a final. So I've literally been in the process of building up to this for 12 years.
Of years. That's the thing. When we plant seeds, we're not going to see the fruit tomorrow. It doesn't happen that way. It takes time, it takes patience, and there's seasons for everything in our lives. So it's like it's one of those things where I always tell people you deserve to know what happens when you don't give up. Because people, if they hear that, it's like, oh my goodness, like 12 years. I don't know, Lord. Maybe I'll just go do X, Y, and Z. But recently I was listening to this podcast that talked about how um a lot of people, other people's purposes are tied to your obedience. So it's like your patients need you, like they need you in that family practice. And if you don't, go through with that, you're being disobedient to God. So it doesn't matter how long it takes, it's just it matters on keep going and don't give up. So thank you for sharing that. And with being valedictorian, what do you think helped you with your studies? Like, was it your best friend? Did you change your study habits, strategies?
Definitely habits. And then of course, my friend, and I'll be honest, of course I knew God like made a way, and I'm like, okay, he didn't bring me to this not to get me through it. But honestly, I wanted to prove all those people wrong. I wanted to be that person, like people to look at me, girls that guys that look like me and don't look like me, but to know like, okay, well, it was all God, right? But I had to do the work because a lot of times people think that when we, ask God for something, He's just automatically supposed to do it for us. But it's like, no, you got to show up and you got to do the work too. So it meant a lot. I was shocked, of course, but I'm just like, thank you, because all the sacrifices are not going, not doing, and the prayers and the tears, it was worth it. So just reminding people, like, yeah, where they say prayer without works is dead. So I was praying, but I wanted to make sure I did the work as well.
Come on, scripture. Yes, indeed. And like even with that, like how you said, like prayer without works is dead. Like you have to get out and do it. But sometimes I do feel like God allows us to be in certain situations where
Mhm.
only He can get us out of it. So it's like at the end, you look up and you can't say, well, because I studied harder, or because I had a different professor, or because blah blah blah. You have to look up and give God the glory. So
Mhm.
I'm glad you got that experience. And even like with my pastor, he was preaching recently about going through the struggle and how, that's better for you because you do build that endurance, you can have that testimony, and you're more careful with things when you do have to go through something to get it. So
Right.
thank you for sharing that. And with your practice, like, do you have your own practice? Are you a business owner? How is that going?
So, I actually am working for a federal qualified healthcare center. So in rural Aiken, South Carolina, and I actually did my clinical there for the past 2.5 years. So I'm able to work with my mentor and my clinical instructor right now. I do family medicine 3 days a week. I do women's health 2 days a week, and I'm also over a sexual health clinic 2 days a week. So I kind of get to see a little bit of everything. And I love it. I mean, I always knock on wood. I love going to work. I don't have like, it may be like tiring some days, but I have yet to knock on wood have a bad day at work. I love it. My plans though, eventually, I say maybe in the next 5 to 10 years at the most, I would love to open my own little small something. That's always been my dream. Even if it's something small related to all types of healthcare. But yeah, so that's what I do as of right now.
That is excellent. And I feel the same way. Like I am in a space right now where I love what I do for work. Like I love my job. I love the company I work for.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was the same way. I was like, I want to open my own business. I want to do this and that. But now that I have a company that I love, I'm like, I still want to open my own business, but I want it to be more so like podcasting. Mentorship, like working with my book, like all of those things. So it's funny how my dreams like shape and grow over time. But yes, I feel the same way. Like, and I feel like as working as a healthcare professional, there are some stresses that we can't avoid. So for me, I don't want to have to go to work and be stressed because my manager is unorganized or rude or any of those things. Like because I already know like I need my patients need me to show up and be 100%. And that's the stressful part, like, going to see somebody who may recently have received a diagnosis that they were unexpecting or recently had a fall and then they broke their hip. So we have to be that person that goes in and is able to do our job without the unnecessary stresses of not liking our job. So that's important. What do your days look like? Like, is it a full day? Is How many patients do you see a day? So,
So I'm still building up my panel. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'll be finishing my 90 days within the end of this month. But it gives a take. I start at 5 a.m. My kid, of course, get the kids to school. I work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I can see between 10 to 18 patients, and especially when it comes to the women's health and the sexual health clinic, a lot of people, come in for different testings and PAPs and annuals. And then with my family medicine, I'm still, like I said, slowly building my panel with them. My population, I have like a high Hispanic population that I see. It's like I started seeing them, and now they're bringing like their cousins and aunts and grandmas. And I'm like, I must be doing a good job job. And of course, there's a barrier, but we have translators. And so I always ask my translators, like, am I doing a good job? Is this why, y'all keep bringing y'all family? And they say, yes, yes, Dr. Boone. So again, I love it. I really do. It's amazing.
Love that. That's awesome. I'm glad that, you're working with a population that they feel seen by you and your service. And yes, they say, marketing, the best marketing is word of mouth. So that's awesome that, you're definitely doing a good job. I don't even know what you're doing, but I know from that testimony that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So that's awesome. And what would you say is like one of your memorable stories with working with a patient interaction?
I have a lot of them, but I'll say one of the I try not to get emotional. I'm a little crybaby too, but one of the most recent ones that I've had, it was a young lady that came in. She recently moved to the area. She was in foster care. Just had a lot of things going on at home. And I kind of like caught on really quickly just from the bruises and the cuts were on her arm that had healed. Um, and she was there for one thing, but I ended up, kind of talking her into coming to see me. She, dropped out of school to come to this area to get away from home. And just knowing that my job, as well as me, we were able to get her hooked up with getting her GED, and just her wanting to come back and see me, and more so to talk than to really be a provider. I mean, she doesn't have any type of medical. I mean, she's a young lady, like 18. She's pretty young, but just seeing that, and even when I like first came in, when I walked in the room, she was like, "You're brown." And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, you have a big smile. And I'm like, yeah. So just that. And I feel like when I walked in, automatically she was kind of able to open up. And I'm just like, hey, are you okay? Do you want to talk? And the appointment lasted way longer than it should have, of course, by standard. But just letting her know that I'm there and just listening, and the fact that she wants to come back and to talk, hey, we can talk. So that in itself, so I'm hoping that when she does come back, I can continue to be that, I guess, light, and be able to, like mentor or minister or whatever to her, throughout all she's been through, because we all have our stories, right? We've all been through stuff, some of us worse than others. So that's something recent, and it's just like, okay, I can do more than give her a medicine. I can do more than, do this checkup. Like, there's so much more that I could possibly do for her. And just me being in the role that I'm in, her seeing like, okay, well, look, she can do it, then, like, it's hope, like I can do it.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being observant and just not, brushing it off and saying, oh, well, that's somebody else's problem. They can handle it. Because with our busy schedule, sometimes it can be like that. But like how you said, we are able to offer help. And even with my current job, like I love that we have social workers available. So like if I see an issue, if I see a problem, I can always refer them to a social worker. But that's so good. That's why representation matters, because now that she sees that it's possible, in the future, she can become a nurse practitioner. She can become a healthcare professional and beat the odds. So thank you for showing her that and sharing that story with us. That's awesome. And then with how long are your sessions typically? I know you said you ran over a little bit with that one, but how is that structured?
So when we have brand new patients that come in, they typically get like a 40-minute visit. And I'll be honest, of that 40 minutes, 10 minutes of that is like them getting paperwork. And then maybe another 10 minutes, maybe them, my medical assistant getting their like vitals and all that. And so truly with me, they get about 20 minutes. But like I say, I am the provider who's a little thorough. And if I have to run over a little bit, I will. That just means I'll have to catch up or like do my work on lunch, which, hey, that's fine. So that's for a new visit. And when they're just coming in following up, they're 20-minute visits. So it's pretty quick. Like a doctor's office. I'll do family medicine. So, you say you go to your primary here and you go in and, see them. So the appointments are quick, but again, a lot of times I'll be honest, I kind of go over a little bit because I want them to feel heard. I want them to feel seen. I don't want them to feel like, okay, well, she's coming in saying what it is she wants to say, giving me what it is she wants to give me, and nobody's listening. That's not how you build trust. That's not how you build rapport.
Yes, I agree with all that. And I talk a lot. So my visits are always going over, but that's okay. That's what people need.
Right.
Um and then oh my gosh, I had another question. Oh, what is the age population you see with family practice? How does that work?
So to 18 and older. I don't do peds. I had a great peds rotation, but I'm like, yeah, no, peds, that's not for me. So 18 and older is my population.
Peds is my favorite. Oh my goodness. That's okay. That's okay. You're still helping people indirectly, so that's good. You're taking care of their family. Um, but yes, Dr. Boone, thank you so much. All of this was informative. I am so blessed to be able to talk to you and learn from you. And yeah, this was a very, very good episode. How we end every episode is that we talk about a test that we went through that led to a testimony, which you kind of spoke on with being valedictorian. Like that's a huge testimony. Or a test that we're currently going through that's going to lead to a testimony. So if you could share a little bit more about that.
I would say maybe a test that I'm currently going through, or just go through on a daily. A lot of times I just have to remember my purpose, remember my why, remember why God brought me and put me in these places, because a lot of times I kind of feel like I get imposter syndrome. And that's a thing, it's a thing, guys. So I just have to remember my purpose, and I have to constantly say, again, God did not bring me this far. He did not give me this knowledge. He did not give me this platform to sell myself short. So I just have to pray, pray to him, pray for positivity, pray for him to remove all that negativity and all, the imposter syndrome out of my mind so that I can function to the highest of my abilities, not just for my patients, but also for home. And I also remember, do not take home to work and do not bring work home. So that's one of my biggest things now, is to just be faithful and to know my why, to remember why he has brought me and he's put me in this position.
I love that. That is so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, that's something imposter syndrome is something that I was struggling with too, especially right after I graduated. Because just struggling going through school. And then even with that, I feel like looking back on it, I started to overcompensate. So, now like I'm trying to do more work than what I should be doing. And that's not a healthy way to be at work as well. But just like how you said, like to combat that, going in the word, listening to who Jesus says that we are in Christ. And also another thing that I do is I keep everything that a patient has ever like given to me, like a note, a picture, a gift, like, and I like to go back and look at those things. And even like how you said too, like when people bring their family to come see you, like I think about all of those things too. I'm like, okay, everybody not lying. Like clearly I'm doing something right. If people are all saying the same things about me, but most importantly, listening to what Jesus has to say about me. So thank you so much, Dr. Boone. This was awesome. I feel so good. My cup is full. I'm about to head to church too for myself, but thank you so much for sharing that. I don't know if you have like a social media where you like blog or anything about your experience being a nurse practitioner, or if you wanted to give out your email or anything. So if people are listening and they wanted to reach out to you, if you had that available. But
So I don't blog or blog as of yet. I did say that me and my best friend said that we're going to start us a little podcast and just talk about all the things that we've been through. But yes, for anyone, I do have a personal email that I use just related for work stuff. And that is rikaylaboone@gmail.com. So that is RIKAYLABOONE at gmail.com. And feel free to reach out with any questions or anything. And I'm here.
well, I cannot wait for your first podcast episode to launch. We are going to speak that into existence. And thank you for sharing your contact information. So thank you, y'all. That was another episode of Testimony Thursdays. Follow us on YouTube at Testimony Thursdays, Instagram Testimony Thursdays, and TikTok. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and we will see you all next week.